Hey there traders, thanks for joining me for this free video from thestockbandit.com. Hope you're getting ready for a brand new week of trading. So let's take a look at where we are in this market. We're going to run through the major averages, kind of discuss some of these key levels that we've been watching and some others to kind of keep in mind for the days ahead. Now last week we saw the market able to push out of these short-term consolidation zones, and that was a healthy thing. Monday we pushed through there, which for the NASDAQ was 2667. Then we pulled back on Tuesday, kind of failed at that level, and came back down and tested almost to the number right here at 2600. Now keep in mind, that was a big level for the NASDAQ, both for March and June support. Then it posed as some resistance, and it's been an important level multiple times this year. So we came back and tested that on Wednesday morning, and then turned higher and finished positive from there. Thursday was a big day. We gapped about 70 points on the NASDAQ. We pushed through this 2705 area that we had been respecting earlier in the week. We ran right on up here to this big area for the NASDAQ, which is this 2740 zone. We had a gap right here from April, and that posed as some support as it was met a few weeks later. We also saw that serve as support a couple of other times, including right before the worst of this big decline in late July, early August. So this has been a big level as well. So we've got a number of levels to be working through on the way back up. So I've been noting them here: 2555, 2600, 2667, which was just some short-term resistance, 2705, and then of course this same area right here, 2740. So we've got a unfilled gap here, which on a pullback, and that's from Thursday morning last week, on a pullback that may get filled at some point. For now, it's just going to kind of hold as some potential support here for the NASDAQ. So we'll just kind of watch Thursday's low, 2694. That's going to be kind of a short-term level. If we break that level, then we can probably expect to see that gap get filled. But for now, this index is holding up pretty well. To see a huge day on Thursday and then to see just a day of digestion on Friday is actually quite positive for the bulls. We had a very narrow day in terms of the range. There's only about 19 points for the NASDAQ. You can see how tiny this bar is right here. And we also saw that occur on lighter volume. So very limited selling on the heels of that big burst higher. So tacking on 3.7% for the week. And now moving forward, if we are able to get through this 2740 area on a closing basis, and we have edged through there last week intraday, but we haven't closed yet above 2740. We saw a 2738 on Thursday, 2737 Friday. This is a level right here. If we get through there, then we've got an unfilled gap here for the NASDAQ that goes up to about 2839. So that's kind of the next level there for the NASDAQ. Let's move on. S&P 500 last week tacked on 3.7%, acting really well. Early in the week it came up and it challenged this 1258 area, and it did it almost to the number. 1256.5 was Monday's high, and you see this was some June support back here. So that was just another level that got respected for a couple of days. We pulled back a little bit and kind of held this 1230 area that we had been dealing with, and then we vaulted higher here. We ran right on up to, or almost to, this 1294. Thursday's high 1292 and change. But we've seen this 1294 where this yellow line is touched a number of times. February 24th, that was a low, 1294. We touched it again right here on April 18th. And then for much of June, that level served as some resistance. Then we pulled back and tested that level again right here on July the 18th, 1295. So this has been a big level. Okay, 1294. That's what we're dealing with right now in the short term. Again, narrow range day on Friday, a gain of half a point for the S&P. But if this index can push through that 1294 level, it can add to this recent momentum that it's been showing here. And kind of the next spot is going to be this 1312 area which really started with a gap here in April, and then it was tested right here during the latter part of May. Okay, so that's kind of the next short-term little level. And then beyond that, we've got the prior high at 1347 right here. That's not the high. We've got two higher highs beyond that, but that's the first level that we would be dealing with here for the S&P if we are able to get through that 1312. So still acting really well, lots of momentum here, even though this market remains a little bit stretched in the short term. It's not exactly a sustainable pace, but at the same time, who wants to be short this market? There's no reason yet technically to be selling. For the Russell, this index tacked on 6.8% last week. We blew through this 718. We dealt with this area right here, 737. That was the recovery high prior to last week. And then on Thursday, we just screamed right through there. We came right on up to this area right here, 772. We've seen that level tested and held a number of times here, and now we're dealing with it from below. Okay, so we'll see kind of how this pans out in the days ahead, but that's a level right there that's getting respect for the Russell. And then finally, the Dow added about 3.5% last week. This level, or this index, got through this 11,862. That was June support. Now we're back up here, and we're kind of testing this area right here. We had this trend line break and a pullback right here in mid-July to 12,296. So we'll call it 12.3, and that's really what we're respecting here. Thursday's high, 12,284. So we're really just kind of right at this level right here, and if we can push past there, then this index has more room to run before it really gets back up here and challenges these highs right here from July, from the latter part of July, at about the 12,750 area. Okay, so there's a look at the market. We've got some levels here to watch. It would really be a good, healthy thing to see this market digest the recent run. It's been doing a pretty good job of that lately, as we've seen continuation for the first time in a while. Lots of back and forth moves here over the past couple of months. However, once we broke down in early October, we ran sharply higher and then we rested. And that's the big key right here. That's what we've been able to build upon. And you can see even last week's minor pullback was able to hold that same area. So the market is still acting very well, very strong, and the volume has been improving on a lot of these advancing days. But now we've got a number of levels to continue dealing with as overhead from earlier this summer. So trade them well this week. Thanks for joining me for this video. I will be back soon with more, but in the meantime, trade like a bandit.